Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the screen on this HP, let's see, laptop model 17-CP0013DX. They put the model number down there. We're going to be, again, replacing the screen, but I'll also show inside. Alright, so let's go ahead and peel these rubber feet out. I just used my fingernail to get in a little gap on the edge here, and then I pry it up. You can use plastic pry tools or whatever, that works fine as well. Oh, these screws are just falling out. I guess they were coming loose, so that's kind of not a good design. Anyways, you want to remove all the screws using a JIS1 screwdriver. Keep them in all in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that, I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the power and I remove them. So you see 4 here, you got 2 here, 2 here, and I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 underneath here. So we are going to remove all of those, okay? So let's go ahead and get these screws out. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so just about done here. We are going to peel out this rubber piece as well. Okay, so peel that up as well, and just like I thought, the screws are only on the 2 sides there. Okay, so we'll let that sit aside and get these last few screws out. Okay, these 2 are silver. All the ones underneath the rubber feet are black screws. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. A little rubber foot stuck to my finger. Okay, last one. Alright, once we got all these screws out, we are going to remove the back cover here. The way I do that is I go from the back here, and then I'll get my fingernails, sorry, not the back, the front here. I'll get my fingernails in the little gap between the palm rest and this piece. Okay, and then I'll push down with my thumbs and pull up with my fingers, and it should hopefully pop out. Let's see here. There you go. Just like that. And you just kind of work your way all around. Okay, once you get that, we'll rotate it to the side. Same thing, and just pull that. Okay. Alright, we'll rotate it to the other side and continue the same thing. Just like this. Okay. There we go. And the back as well. We already did these hinge little cover areas. Okay, it looks like this back part might be stuck pretty strong. So we're gonna now lift this up because we got all around except for the back up. We're gonna grab this and we're gonna kind of wiggle it side to side or front to back, and then as we pull it, and there we go. Okay, came off pretty easily. There you can see this one actually inside is relatively clean, so that's good. The main reason we needed to get in here was to remove the battery. The battery, if you want to see here, is HW03XL. That's the model number, HW03XL. You got I guess this one was upgraded to a 1 terabyte SSD because it's a TimeTech. That's not a model that normally comes with these laptops. And this is a, M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. So I'm wondering if the RAM was changed by them too. We're going to pull these 2 tabs to the side, pops up at an angle. And this is also Team Group 16 gig DDR4 3200. So any PC4 3200 RAM should work. If you want, you can put, I highly recommend using both slots. It's actually better to have 2 8 gigs than 1 16 gig stick. So if you're gonna upgrade, try and get it like matching 2 sticks. Alright, we're just gonna quickly look over. You got the LCD LVDS connector. You want to be very careful if you're gonna mess with this. Make sure that you disconnect the battery first, and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Let me actually get a thumbnail here, and then I'm gonna do the battery power drain. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and remove the battery. So this battery is pretty simple to remove. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit for you guys, if I can, because the little rubber foot's in the way. I don't want it to get stuck and then, yeah. But anyways, let's remove all these screws. Again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. You don't want to mix things up and then end up damaging the computer that way, okay? Alright, so now that we got those 4 screws out, we're going to go under this area here and just pull up. It pops out very easily, just like that. Okay, so there's the battery. Okay, very simple. Alright, now like I said, I'm going to open up the laptop. Let me make sure these screws, the hinge screws, are tight because you don't want them to come loose while you're opening that. This is a kind of a weak spot, especially on this side because it only has the screws like in a smaller confined area. Well, actually 2 here, that should be pretty strong. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and open up the laptop a bit. Okay. Oh, I was lifting up the screen cover. Okay, we're gonna carefully open this up a little bit. Okay, and then like I said, we're gonna press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. This will drain any residual power, and it will make it a lot safer to work on. Alright, so we're going to hold it for about 10 more seconds. Alright, and this is a very important part. You don't, I mean, sometimes you'll get lucky if you don't do it and you won't have any issues, but other times you'll be very unlucky, so it's always a good idea to do that. Okay, you got the USB port and the SD card slot on their separate board. There's a cable running along here underneath and connecting to the motherboard here. If you're wondering, these connectors, they have a little flip latch here that you can flip up just like that, and then once you do that you can pull these cables out, but I'm going to leave them there. This one has little wings, so you kind of have to lift the cable up slightly at an angle and then pull it out. You got the trackpad connector here going to the trackpad. There are screws holding it in, so if you need to replace it you can. Keyboard connector is here. The keyboard is held in with these melted plastic things, so if you need to replace that, that'll be a real pain. You also have this little connector here, which is going to the fingerprint sensor. And then you got a big speaker here with the red and black cable running along underneath, most likely to this speaker here. Yep. And then it connects to the motherboard with this connector. This kind I just grab the wings and I kind of just wiggle as I pull. Alright, again, LCD, LVDS. If you're going to mess with that, make sure you did unplug the battery and press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. You do have the fan connector here, same thing with the wings, you wiggle and pull it. It looks like if you remove the screws you can pull it out. I'm not going to mess with it. This is just a little spacer. I think some models have 2 fans, especially if it uses like a dedicated GPU. You got the wireless card here, only 1 antenna. I don't know if any of this information will be useful to anyone, but there you go. Okay. There you go. Wireless antenna to remove, you go underneath the tail and then you pop it up, but you will have to peel off this adhesive thing. There's also another JIS1 screw there. This is the DC jack or charge port connector, which runs along, runs along down here, tucks in here, and then goes all the way up here. To replace this, you do have to undo the hinge screws. Sometimes it helps to keep the laptop slightly open, like how I have it right now, and then undo those screws, and then when you slowly close it, it will leave that hinge slightly up, and then you can pull the charge port out. Alright, so that's pretty much for that. Now we are going to go ahead and get to the screen. Again, hopefully, let me move this rubber piece out of the way because I know I'm probably going to accidentally hit it and then I'm going to have some issues. So there we go. Okay, hopefully I won't hit the screws, but here we have the screen bezel. We're going to pop this out by going underneath the center, okay, and then you roll it up. So kind of like rolling it like this. You pull up with your fingers, push in and down with your thumb, and that should be able to pop it out. You want to go slow because there's adhesive holding it, so don't try and just quickly rip it out or you're going to end up breaking something, okay? So you can see as I go slowly, the adhesive slowly pops out. And I also did open this up once before, so that's why it kind of comes out easier. For you, it might take a bit longer time to kind of keep pulling on it, prying on it, and it should eventually pop out. And then we're going to do the same thing with the corners, pushing in towards the center. Okay, and I can also rotate like I'm pulling up with the meat of my thumb and pushing down like this, so I can roll it just like that. Okay, and make it look a little bit easier than it actually is because I've done this kind of work for a long time, so I kind of know how it's designed and what's holding it. Okay, we'll just keep pulling, And here you can see the adhesive, some of it's kind of coming out. That's okay, we don't really need all that adhesive on it. Alright, we're going to rotate the computer here. And now we have access to this. Oh, we might actually have to take the whole... I think we have to take the whole screen out on this one, which sucks. The way I do that, so I leave it open about 90 degrees, hang it over the edge of my desk like this. Let me zoom out a tiny bit more. Okay, and we're going to actually remove the LCD, LVDS, like everything. So we're going to pop this little connector up. Sorry, I'm zoomed out, but basically I showed one earlier. You flip that latch up. After you do that, you can pull this cable slightly up and then pull it back. There's some adhesive here, so peel that up. And a little bit there, or it's a little tucked in right there, okay? And then this side, oh, are we really gonna have to take all of that out? Okay, we're gonna have to take out the DC jack because it's all tucked in here and this wireless antenna is going into the screen. So let's see, we'll first try peeling up the wireless antenna. Okay, so we'll go over here, and then like I said, you go from the tail and you just pull straight up. It pops out just like that, okay? I'm going to try and untuck this, but I think, yeah. Okay, DC jack connector here. Again, I like to use the wings. I try and get my fingernails in there, and then you kind of just wiggle this and keep pulling. And as you wiggle it, there you go. All right, so we're going to untuck all of this. Okay, and there we go. I think I'm going to have to undo this as well. Oh, no. Okay, it goes on top. So good. We're going to get this out, untuck all of that, and there we go. Okay, also take note, the wireless antennas and stuff are coming out the side over here, not straight this way, okay? Next thing we're going to do, we're going to undo the screen screws. Again, you want to keep them all in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. Hopefully you guys were keeping all the screws in order. Alright, it looks like the hinge screws and the bottom cover screws might be the same. And then the battery screws are much smaller, but it's always a good idea to keep them in order regardless, okay? Because it's best if you put the same screw back where you got it. They also put little arrows to show you where the screws came from on the metal pieces. So if you're not sure or you don't remember, or you messed up the pattern, then you'll want to check that, alright? I'm holding the screen up because now there's only one screw and you can see it's like flopping around, okay? Once you get all the screws out, you can let it drop slightly. We're going to pull it straight up to unlodge it. Make sure you don't have any cables caught on anything, and then we're going to take this out. Also make sure you don't drop anything metal in here, obviously, but yeah. Or not specifically metal, but anything electrically conductive can cause problems. Okay, so we got this out. You can see we got all this frame out. We do have to remove this, I believe, and then we can hopefully remove that. So this, usually we have to like slide it over. So let's see. Maybe on HP they did it different because it doesn't want to slide anywhere. And actually, after looking at it, yeah, I don't think it's going to slide because these, this bezel here is slightly higher. So that means we need to pop this out somehow, I think. I don't think it's gonna just come out if we just pull, like, pop this all out. But let's try, okay? So we'll pop up the bezel some more. And, actually, it looks like it might come out. So let's go ahead and just continue popping this out. Problem is, with this, you can see the adhesive down here. You want to be careful because it can peel up the screen stuff. I mean, if your screen's already broken, you probably don't have to worry about it, but if it starts peeling up the layer of the screen, the black plastic layer, you might have to push that back down, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? Gonna keep going here. Go. All right, can we slide this out, or are we gonna have to take the, yeah, we might have, I think we have to take this hinge cover off, but this one's probably gonna be a pain. So let's see how we can pop this off. Can I rock it downwards this way? It looks like it's working. I'm kind of rotating it that way and it's kind of popping up a little bit. have to be a little careful. I don't want to damage the plastic here. How is this holding in place? I don't see any special clips, so I guess we just kind of squeeze and roll. I don't know about that. This one looks like it's going to be tough. Let's see if we can get in from under here. I'm going to use my fingernails to pry under there. Okay, and it is popping out. Okay, there we go. So that is coming out, I think. You can see I popped all of this up, and there we go. It did go over, so it is kind of weirdly. Whoa, why is it so stuck on that? Can I? Okay, be careful not to damage these cables. But this kind of like grips like this, so it's kind of like a claw, so when it goes, it's kind of holding like this but open, and then you kind of have to pull it to get it to go over. Okay, so there you go. Here you can see what the clips look like. Okay, looks like all the clips. I thought this was like a broken one, but it looks like that's solid, so that's not really a clip. Alright, and then in terms of which side is up and down, if you look at these little hook thingies here, there's one on there and one on there. So when I rotate it, that actually goes towards the bottom of the screen. So these hook pieces go towards this side of the screen, this side, okay? Alright, so that's how you would know which way it would go. Also, you can, I guess the flat side is at the bottom of the screen, I just noticed, okay? We'll set that aside. Let's go ahead and continue popping this thing out. Hopefully this laptop will work after replacing this, because the customer, when they brought it to me, it's only just lighting up black. Alright, so we gotta peel this up. I mean, I think it's not even lighting up. It was just completely dead. So hopefully this will be repairable. Alright, so we gotta keep peeling this stuff up and then pull it away. Okay, so this way. Be careful again not to yank on the cables. And there we go. So this is the black adhesive I was talking about. Sometimes it peels that up and then can damage the screen. But here you can see what the screen looks like. Oh, the double stick adhesive kind of rolled on itself. But, I mean, it should still be okay. It's just this portion's not going to stick too nicely. But it looks like I can unroll it a little bit. Kind of. Okay, so I'm just going to try and unroll this stuff as much as I can. The one downside to this design is once I put this thing back on, pretty much it's on, so the replacement screen is going to be somewhat of a pain. I forget if this model had, oh, I can actually see the crack in the screen. Let me see if I can record that. Do you see that big circle bubble right there? Right here, this big circle. That's the crack in the screen. Okay, I forgot if this one had like a stretch release adhesive. It might have, but yeah, anyways, if it does, there might be some tabs here and here. I didn't remove anything from the bottom when I worked on it. I think I only looked at the top. So if it does have stretch release adhesive, it would be up here. And usually you can kind of use a tweezer or something, grab it, or needle nose pliers, grab that, and you stretch it like parallel to the screen. You don't want to pull it straight up. You want to pull it away, like back, parallel, okay? Anyways, now we're going to lift this screen at an angle here. Rotate it. Actually, let's rotate the whole thing, and you can see inside. Alright, we're going to have to be careful when we lower this down because we don't want to damage anything. And it looks like it's just tucked like that. Okay, so we can actually pull the screen up and then try and untuck this cable here. You want to be careful because it is like pinching there. And then also take note of which way this is going. So you have it tucked in here as well, and then going over the top. Okay, so if we're going to take the whole screen out, that's how we do it. Oh, it's attached to this cable as well, so you can't just separate it completely. Be careful there. Okay, you got this cable. Alright, so we have this, which is being held. Let me see if I can rotate it so you guys can see better. Okay, I can rotate it like this since the screen is damaged. And we'll show you how this mechanism works. And here you can see the screen model information as well. N173HCE-E3C. Okay. All right. And as far as removing the cable goes, we have this. I like to use a little plastic razor blade. You can also use your fingernails or something to kind of peel this adhesive up. It is kind of a pain to get these kinds of adhesive things up, but we're gonna try. All right, so we'll peel that like that, and then kind of use this. You can see I can kind of slice through the adhesive a little bit. Work our way over. Okay, once I peeled enough, I'm gonna use my fingernails or fingers just to peel it some more. Just like that. It helps to kind of roll the thing. Okay. And there we go. Then this little latch, if it didn't already pop up, you might have to lift it up that way. I use my fingernails towards the bottom of the connector and then pull it straight back, just like that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. This screen has been removed. We'll set that aside. Hopefully you were able to see the entire process of removal. Here's the screen LCD LVDS cable information if you need that for some reason. Oops. Okay, let's go ahead and get the replacement screen now. I think the rest is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to pop the thing back in. So the screen came in this box. We're going to cut this open. And yeah, hopefully I have room there. Okay, so we got that. Let's cut this open. Oh, is there a... Okay. Cut that open. Okay. Oh, they put more tape over here as well, so I need to cut that as well. Hopefully this screen works okay because... Wait, did they put that tape there or did I accidentally get it stuck? Anyways, hopefully this screen works okay because this one, Amazon didn't have it, so I think I ordered it from someone on eBay. Okay, get the box over there. Okay. So it comes like this. Make sure you're grounded. You don't want static to get on the computer while you're working on it. So, got this tape here. Okay. Alright, and we're going to unroll this. So, I like to kind of just roll it on itself. And again, you want to be very careful with the screen. Okay. Keep rolling it up. Throw this in. Here's the screen. Okay. This one's actually a different model screen. Hopefully it works okay. I don't know if you can see. They put a tape over the actual model information. And they taped this cardboard thingy on top. Okay, I don't know why they do that, because it makes it difficult to remove, I guess. I don't know. Okay, peel up like this. Obviously, it just depends how they packed your stuff. This is how they packed this one. And then I'm going to roll the adhesive back here so it doesn't cause any damage, hopefully. Okay, and then we got this packaging, so we're going to flip this over. And then, now that we have it flipped the other way, we can go ahead and pull the cardboard to peel the adhesive off, just like that. I'll set that aside. Stay there, plastic bezel. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so here's the screen. Let's actually compare it to the other one. So here's the original. Looks like that. Okay, very similar. Connectors do line up, so that's good. And this one is matte. Hopefully the other one is also matte. We won't know until I peel off the protective layer because it looks glossy right now. Let's peel it up a little bit and see. and it is matte, so that's good. Okay, so now we are going to install it into the thing here. So we have that, and I don't know how I'm going to show this because I don't want to like risk damaging it by putting it in a weird way. Okay, so obviously you just get the cable back in, so I'm going to line it up. And then I use the metal latch to help pull the cable in, so I grab the metal latch and pull that. It clicks. We'll click down the little thing there. Can I separate it from the adhesive? Okay, I can. There you go. I'll click down the latch there. Make sure it's clicked into place. Good. And then we'll put this adhesive on top. Perfect. We're going to now flip this thing back over. Make sure the wireless antenna is on top. Line everything up. This cable needs to go back into this little tucked in spot, and this stuff all gets tucked down as well, I think, just like that. Alright, drop the screen into place. Perfect, perfect. If you're wondering, the wireless antenna does go underneath. It goes over sideways under this metal bracket piece and then all the way up to here, and that's the wireless antenna. Webcam and the microphones are here. They have this little cable that plugs in, goes there, goes to that flat cable, and actually connects with the same LCD LVDS connector. Okay, so now that we got the screen in place, let's go ahead and put, should I put the bezel? If I put the bezel, I have to peel this. Well, I guess let's do it because I don't want to have to take the screen back out to put this back together, because I do have to mount this into the computer. I can't test it while it's outside like this. Okay, so we're going to peel all this up, and I'm probably going to end up with a palm print. Okay, no, it evaporated. Alright, set that aside. Okay, next thing, we'll get the bezel here. Get that lined up. Pretty simple, straightforward. Just get everything lined up. Make sure these cables end up on top of the bezel, obviously. Okay, and you go in at an angle to kind of tuck these little thingies in underneath out of the way. Okay, so just like that, and just like that. And then you got all these parts sticking up. These do kind of have some clips here that click as well, so make sure those clip in. Then we'll go around, and I push on the outer edge, which is basically like making it lift up the center and clip into place. So you can see, just go like that. Same thing over here. Push the outer edge down and work your way up. Okay. Okay, same thing with this side. Push on the outer edge. Oh, this was, okay, I thought it was missing a rubber piece, but it's just short. Okay, and push that down and that. Okay, so there we go. We got all of that into place. Work our way down the sides. Work your way across the middle. Don't press too hard because you don't want to crack the screen, obviously. Alright, and there's the control board down there, so you don't want to damage those trying to get that on. Then we got this piece. Again, you want the flat side at the bottom here. So this will just line it up. Okay. Can be a little bit tricky because these cables do need to go inside of there. If you want, you can kind of lift the cable up into it first and then just kind of help guide it down, but make sure, because there are these little clip thingies, that these stay down. Okay, actually it might need to stay tucked into this area, and then we're gonna push that over it. Oh, this is gonna be very tricky to get that cable to stay. You can see it's getting like crunched on. So how am I going to do this? You have to make it stay tucked in this little area here. Did it need to go in anywhere else? No? Okay, I think that's good. All right, so we're gonna get this on. It's a little tricky, and then make sure this edge meets up with the edge of the black part of the bezel. Okay, let's get this guy on. There we go. All right, so before we clip it in, again, you want to make sure that it lines up with the bezel there and the bezel there. Looks good. Then hopefully we can just click it down. Yep. Nice. Okay, so you can see now we got that gap all flush there, and then we got this gap all flush. This one's a little bit weird actually. I don't know if that's how it was, but I mean it did clip and everything, so not really much else we can do about it. Alright, let's go ahead now and take the rest of the computer, get it over here. Same thing like before, over the edge of the desk. Let me zoom out more. Make sure you don't accidentally smash these cables. So they do go into these little routes down there. Okay, so we're gonna carefully lower this into place. How did this work again? Okay, hold these cables out of the way and slowly lower it in. Man, that's gonna be a little tricky. How do I make it stay over there? Okay, one thing you could do, we can actually get the screen underneath like this. Okay, get it on top. I think this will work. So then we have the screen ready. Let me zoom in. So now we have the thing like this, and we can route the cables where they need to go, like over here. Okay, route the cable where it needs to go. Make sure it stays down, tucked down there. And then route it all over here. Perfect. Underneath here, oops. Underneath. Then you peel this adhesive back up and get this lined up. You know it's lined up, right? Because if you, let me show you here. So if you have it lined up, it kind of like catches there, but let me zoom in more so you can see better. Okay, so you have this, and then if it's lined up, if you move your finger on top, it kind of stays there, and you know, and then you can click it down. Okay. Come on, stay there. Okay, and then click it down. There we go. All right, and then you can test by kind of lifting on it lightly, and you can see it's staying there. So we're good. We'll put this adhesive back on top. All right, then we got the cable here, which also will follow here. Get that all tucked in and around. Oops, sorry. Just like that. This cable actually helps hold down the other one. And then this tucks, if I remember, under there. Hopefully I'm doing that right. All right, then we'll get that in and pinch that back together just like that. Also, there is a slot here, right here. This is an area for a 2.5 inch SATA hard drive, but you will need a connector that will plug into this little ribbon cable. It has this little ribbon cable slot, all right? Anyways, close that up because we're not using it. We've got the DC jack connected. All right, don't forget the LCD LVDS connector as well. So have this follow that groove. Make sure this latches up. Okay, this can go in it goes in slightly at an angle, up like that, like pointing down. Okay, so just like that. Make sure it's in all the way. And then slide your finger over the top to latch it down. All right, hopefully is that in all the way? Okay, it seems like that's all it goes, so there we go. Usually when they make these, the white line is like at the edge of this connector, but there's a good like millimeter or two, so that's kind of weird. Anyways, I'll stick that down. I didn't pay that close attention when I first took it out. Anyways, we're going to slowly push the hinges down. These can be a bit tough, so I'm going to rotate it, and then I'll push like this. You want to push more towards the top, or you can even just open up the screen again and then get the screws in. But there you go, we got that in place. This side, same thing, push that down. Okay, go slowly because you want to make sure it lines up with those. Alright, so there we go. Now we're going to get the hinge screws back in, and hopefully when we go to power it up, it's going to be working properly. Okay, so we got the screw there. One thing you can also do is add a little thread locker back to this. I use this red 262. Some people told me, like, you don't use that, it's too permanent, but actually it's not. I've never had an issue with them being stuck. It does keep the screws from undoing themselves though. But too much. Don't need that. Okay, anyways, we just need a tiny bit on each screw. So I made a blob too big, but there we go. I mean, the blob is coming out of the nozzle, not on the screw. So you just barely touch it to the stuff, and that's good enough. All right. So get the second one here. I hope I'm putting the screws in the right spot because it does have the arrows there for me to follow. But for some reason on my desk, oh, that's why. Okay, let me take this out because when I first did this, it was upside down. That's why I'm doing it weird. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so I actually have to put this upside down because that's how I worked on it originally, but now it's going to be not able to fit in the camera right. Okay, so what's the bottom one? So we had this guy here. Okay, and then this one here. I might have to put a little more of the thread locker stuff back on it. Okay, let me take this one back out and add some thread locker back to it. Okay. Alright, this makes more sense. Okay, so we got this side in. We're gonna now go to the other side and get those three in. Okay. Alright. This one in. And the bottom one. Alright, so now we got all the hinge screws in. All that's left to do is put the battery back, cover it back up, and we should be good to go. Assuming it was just the screen that was the issue, which I'm hoping it was because it did have a big bubble crack looking thing in there. Alright, so the battery, just line up these. Okay, line it up, and then push this down. There we go. Make sure it's in. I like to pull it because sometimes it's like slid down too far. Alright, and then we'll get all these screws back in. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, leave a comment because YouTube likes that. And yeah, alright, that's in. let's get the bottom cover on. Let me dust it a little bit because there's a tiny bit of dust here, but nothing really bad. Okay, then we'll get this on. So this one, you just line it up, and then we'll click it all back in. So click that in, make sure it's all clicked in. Okay, way over the top here, make sure all of that's clicked in. You want to check the little gaps there, make sure it looks okay. Alright. A piece of this is actually, this is missing the little centerpiece, so they might want to change their DC jack eventually. I think I might have mentioned to that when they first brought it, because I saw that originally. They said they dropped it, and then I saw that and I was like, you might want to replace that, and they said it's working fine right now, so they'll leave it for now, I guess. Oops. Oh, no. I put one of the hinge screws in the wrong spot. Now that's in the way. Okay, I'm gonna have to pop this open again real quick. Okay, wiggle that out. Alright, so which guy was it? This one? Yeah, oops, I put it in the one too close. So we do need to take this back out. And we do need to put it over here. Alright, there we go. We'll get this back into place. Click it all back down again. Okay, do one quick look, make sure everything looks clicked in. Looks good. Alright, let's get these screws back in now the right way. Alright. Good. 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 And good. Alright, then the rubber piece, the way I get that in, I'll start with one side, line it up, go down a little bit, then we'll go to the other side, make sure that's all lined up, and then you can kind of work your way in towards the center. Oh, get these off. Okay, then we'll work our way towards the center. Just like that. Perfect. Alright, then we have the other screws, and then we'll power it up. Oh, the battery on here, if you notice, there's no CMOS or BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. It actually uses the main battery for that. So, the BIOS is basically going to be reset now, and it should usually take a while to start up after that. So keep that in mind. The computer's not going to just start up right away because of that BIOS getting reset. Okay. Let's get these last screw in and get the rubber piece back on. Alright, so same thing here, line that up, get the edge, and then we'll get the other edge over here in, and there we go. Just get all of that into place. Alright, there we go. Let's flip this over and power it up and see what we got. Hopefully I won't need to plug it in. But, okay, power button lights on. Got some dust on it. You can see the screen is staying off. Okay, so the screen is staying off right now. And again, usually it will take a little bit for it to power on. Let's hope it's not. Okay, it looks like the screen is good. So you can see CMOS was reset. We'll press enter and it should boot. Yeah, so that always scares me because sometimes it really is like the screen's not working. But yeah, as you can see, it's good now. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. It's always a good idea to restart the computer one time as well after changing a major hardware component like that. So I'm gonna just go into the menu here and I'll restart the computer one time. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.